Hello everyone, and we are back with some more builds. Woo! Okay, don't look at me like that. Hi everyone, how are you doing today? I'm doing absolutely wonderful, and we are pressing on with another profession. I did mention in the last video maybe I will do a revamp of my Mesmer build, but we might have to postpone on that because I do want to hit almost every single profession before I start looping back. And today I decided to do the Ranger, and I actually saw someone commented, I hope for Ranger, and literally as I was recording this, I was like, oh, well guess what? I'm doing Ranger. So welcome on by everybody. We are going to be looking at specifically the hammer and how it works with other Ranger builds outside of Untamed. And right now I'm currently playing a Soulbeast. So it's very fun. But this build is going to be a little bit more, I mean, of course, open world, but is a bit more sustain, a bit more about that tanking, sustain, crowd control effects. If there were more taunts in the game, I would love to experience that, at least for open world, just so I can kind of play that niche. But that's kind of what I'm going for, and we're going to explain a little bit more about our gear first. I'm running with Vigilant, Power, Toughness, Concentration, and Expertise, because you are going to be able to share out some boons and some other beneficial effects. So that's why I'm going with a little bit of concentration, but this is going to be really about that toughness. To supplement and put a little bit more power into my build, I decided to go with Rune of the Ogre. Definitely not because it was just a rune set that I already had on this character. I think this is fine. Power, ferocity, but then also some vitality. As for my weapons, I'm running with Greatsword and Hammer. For Hammer, I'm running Superior Sigil of Celerity to give myself increased quickness uptime, gain quickness for 5 seconds after disabling a foe, and with the Hammer you have a decent amount of selection when it comes to disabling and crowd control effects. And then as for my accessories, I'm going with Knights, but then Berserkers for the rings. A little bit of a mixture. This is a bit more tailored to like sustain, but also power. So I think you have a little bit of wiggle room in terms of your ring choices, or if you want to just assign a couple of your accessories to bolster up your damage, you can go with that route. Or if you just want to go full on sustain and maybe you're having a bit of trouble in open world, or you just want to make sure you're not dying, you can go full Knights, or you can double up on Vigilant if you want to for increased toughness, concentration, and expertise. I just wanted to go for a little bit more precision, so that's why I went with Knights. As for the Relic, I'm running with Relic of the Thief because it's the best one that they give you. I was looking in the survival category of relics that they grant you. And I just gotta say, the survival relics did not impress me. They really didn't. And enough of the gear, let's talk about the specs. I'm running Beast Mastery, Marksmanship, and Soulbeast. Beast Mastery, I'm running with Potent Ally, Two-Handed Training, Fury Access, which is important, and also Zephyr Speed. Cast Lesser Quickening Zephyr when you swap pets, granting myself quickness and super speed. Marksmanship, I'm running with Hunter's Gaze for passive might generation. Moment of Clarity, gain an attack opportunity for you and your pet when you interrupt a foe. And my crowd control effects last longer, which is really good. And also I'm going with Remorseless because I'm getting Fury on multiple areas of this build. So for Remorseless, I will regain Opening Strike whenever I gain Fury, and Opening Strike deals more damage. Opening Strike is your minor trait that you get when you just start down on Marksman. You and your pet inflict vulnerability with your first strike when entering combat, and because I've traded it, it's 25% stronger. Finally, Soulbeast. I'm running with Live Fast, Fury Generation, and also Quickness when I use a Beast ability. When I gain Quickness, the boons that I have in myself are extended by 2 seconds. And then finally, I'm taking Leader of the Pack. This is where some of that boon uptime can be important, and sharing out your stances. Stance skills gain increased duration on you and grant their effects to nearby allies for a reduced duration. A reduced duration, but a duration nevertheless. So I'll be able to generate things like protection, swiftness, fury, and regeneration for allies around me. The stance itself will have a reduced effect, but I'm able to now spread out protection, fury, swiftness, and regen. And speaking of skills, let's talk about what skills I'm running with. And specifically, I'm going to be talking about the hammer, because when you're playing the hammer on a ranger and you're not on Untamed, you can actually choose which version of your hammer skill you want, which is really cool. And I'd love to see that implemented on other professions and their weapons. Maybe add a couple other abilities on some existing weapon sets. I'm looking at you, Staff Guardian, because literally that weapon set only has 4 abilities, because line avoiding, very situational, and I never get any use out of it. Anyways, I'm currently running with Wild Swing for some barrier generation and applying Cripple, and also taking Overbearing Smash. This is where the bulk of my CC will come in. This will deal a packet of damage, dazing, and then do another strike, doing a little bit more damage, but then also dazing for a longer period of time. This ability will also give you barrier. So your 2 and 3 are going to be nice defensive abilities. And finally, for my last 2 abilities, this is where I went more into the damage line. Unleashed Savage Shockwave, dealing increased damage to controlled or defiant foes, and increasing the damage per condition on my target. And then finally, Unleashed Thump. Leap forward and slam the ground with your hammer, gaining boons for each target struck. This will also be a nice access to Fury, and additionally Might. It's all really good. And then of course you have your Greatsword, which your standard skills there. As for my utilities, I'm taking Bear Stance. Nice ability. I'm taking Signet of Stone to increase my toughness. Still one of the few utility skills which increases toughness. And then for the active, if you need to use it, you'll become immune to damage, incoming strike damage. And next, I'm taking Doliac Stance, reducing my damage and condition damage that I'm going to receive from enemies even further. Also works as my stun break, but additionally grants stability to myself and allies around me. Also, Moa Stance, gaining boons and increasing the duration of boons you grant while in the stance. So I believe if I go Moa Stance, I'll do this. And then stability works 6 seconds, but I think it'll probably, yeah, it's like up to 10 seconds. So you can kind of chain Moa Stance into Doliac Stance if you want to do that, just to bolster the amount of stability on your allies even more to make sure that it's lasting a decent amount of time. And finally, for my Elite 1 Wolf Pack, nice damage. This is a nice damage one. What can I say? It's the only reason I'm really taking it. And then also, as for my pet, I am running with the, is this a Blue Moa? Yes, it's the juvenile Blue Moa. I'm running with the Blue Moa. It's a stout pet, but its ability is Protecting Screech, meaning it will apply protection to itself and allies around. And when you go into beast mode, the whole reason I'm taking Soulbeast, because you get to merge with your pet. Your F1 is a nice heal for yourself, but also allies around you. Your second ability is a nice attack to deal damage, but also apply vulnerability. And finally, Unflinching Fortitude. A nice invuln. Take no damage from incoming attacks for 4 seconds. Because you have this traded, it also grants you Fury and Quickness. So that's the Blue Moa, but I'm also taking the Phoenix. This is a bit more of your straight up damage. The beast ability, Gale Breath, does a nice 6 ticks of damage. But when you go into beast mode, you get access to a little bit more vuln, but importantly, you have Wing Buffet. You get to do a knockback. Nice Defiance break as well. And then Worldly Impact, a good amount of damage, but also applying Fury and Quickness because it counts as a beast ability. But this combo finisher is also a leap. It's a leap, but not a blast. Interesting. I would imagine that to be blast rather than a leap. I never really noticed that, actually. It's quite interesting. I'm gonna be honest. It's tanky. It's tanky. Now, it might not be tanky enough to sustain itself through that one Itzel point and Verdant Brink, because that is just on another level. But when it comes to open world experience and open world encounters, you'll have a nice time. And one reason why I'm in Heart of Thorns is because many of the enemies here hit harder than in other areas. Even just taking some damage, that's not chunking me down too much. If I was on an Elementalist, I'd be sweating already. We're going to break that stun, getting access to that. I'm going to merge with my pet, going to go into my beast ability, gain some more Fury. And whenever you're cycling through Fury, you're just going to be able to generate more opening strikes here down on your hotbar. And it will pop up every once in a while on your own build, but when you get into a small group, if you have a few allies around you, most builds in this game, hopefully, I've found. Will also spread out boons to allies just as you're playing around people. It's kind of a passive thing that will trigger. Oh, actually, hold on. This bone breaker is kind of testing me. It's kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie. I might need to pop my signet just for a little bit. I mean, that was honestly the worst time to pop my signet. Do not pop your signet when you've successfully broken an enemy. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna heal. We're gonna get some protection up. I'm gonna go into my beast. I'm gonna use my first ability to give myself a little bit more healing. My Doliac stance is up, so I can reduce my damage that way. I'm gonna use my F3. Gonna use my elite skill to then get extra spikes of damage, but I gotta back up. There's a lot of area of effect skills here going on. My stability. I do not have stability. I'm gonna swap over to my other pet, also gaining Quickening Zephyr, super speed, and that quickness. I gain some barrier. We've successfully broken. So my oh no, they're stuck on a rock. But I'm gonna merge with my pet, so I'm gonna get increased damage at the moment. And I'm also gonna use my F2 to just break, and then I'm going to. Ooh, it does keep you in place. It does keep you in place, so be aware of that. They are broken, so that's good. And I'm just gonna whoop out. I was able to adjust, not gonna lie, that why I am here is because there are more deadly enemies. But being on this build with so many defensive options at your disposal, I did have to kind of pay attention a little bit because I was just rambling. However, key elements that I was using to make sure I was keeping myself alive was using Doliac stance kind of off cooldown if I felt like I needed it. However, there were moments where I was like, let me pop it to gain stability. There was one moment where I kind of just got CC'd out of it, but I didn't use it at the proper time. Moa stance is nice to just use kind of whenever it comes up and you're in a fight, because you'll get protection and regen. And while you're not, you know, building a lot of healing power, regen is nice to have because you're able to sustain yourself a little bit more. Another element which is really important is getting those wild swing and overbearing smash skills off, because that's where you're going to get a good amount of your barrier generation. But then also using your blue Moa, you're gaining that stout effect, because this pet, when you're merging with it, counts as a stout pet. So it increases your toughness and vitality even more, meaning you can take more hits and have a bit larger of a health pool. Harmonic Cry is a nice little heal, but using Unflinching Fortitude is another huge survival skill. All right, let's just kind of wrangle some of these up. And also, the more people around you, the more barrier you're going to get when you successfully strike with 2 and 3. So keep that in mind. I'm going to use Unflinching. Oh, it doesn't give you stability, but it does make you invulnerable. And because I have some conditions, I'm going to use my 6th ability to remove those conditions as they start popping up. I'm going to use Moa Stance. I'm going to get some extra Fury. Woo, missed that. And we're going to just interrupt and gain some of that barrier. Most of the time with this build, if I am playing by myself and kind of in the zone and paying attention, I tend not to go anywhere below 25% health, I've found. And I kind of want to fight this just to like be like in the zone and see, because I was kind of like messing around there for a little bit. We're going to do this. We're going to pop because I'm going to get as much stability as I can up already. And then we're going to swap pets and we're going to go straight into my other pet. Oh, he is facing the wrong way. That attack just went absolutely nowhere, but that is okay. That's fine. I'm going to merge with my pets because they are now downed and vulnerable. And because they're vulnerable, your 4th and 5th abilities are now stronger because you deal increased damage to controlled foes, but also foes with a Defiance bar. Nice, broke them. I did not need to use Doliac Stance there. See, sometimes even I be messing up. That's why I don't categorize these as like Snow Crow's builds. We're going to leave the experts to the experts. But that is my build, everyone. Thank you so much for coming on by. I truly appreciate it. If you'd like to purchase Secrets of the Obscure, the newest expansion for Guild Wars 2, gain access to the Weapon Master training, which is the whole reason why I can bring you these builds, is because once you get Soto, you're able to then use all of the previous Elite Specialization weapons on any build that you want, any Elite Specialization, or just any build that has a core profession. You can just use it, even while leveling, I believe. Don't Don't fact check me on that. And if you would like to support me on Patreon, get early access to videos and some exclusive videos, link is also down there. Thank you so much to my patrons. If you'd like to purchase anything from DX Racer, be sure to use my link down below and use code KROOF for 5% off. And that is all that I can say. Also, you can go catch me on Twitch during the weekends, but y'all know where to find me. This is the internet. Just type in KROOF and I'll pop up. But thank you all so much for coming on by, and I'll see you in the next video with the next profession.